Well guys, welcome to this virtual 360 degree 2018 California rice harvest video. We were about a week and a half into harvest and I thought I'd let you guys sit in the cab with me and just check out what we're doing. Just briefly, I'm going to mention how you can control the 360 degree video. If you're new to this, you can either swipe with your finger or move the phone around to change your point of view and perspective. You should be able to see 360 degrees all around the camera. I'm here in the cab. Out front, you'll see I'm driving down the dirt road. I'll be giving directions based on my position, so either to my left, straight ahead of me, to my right, so that I can just kind of explain where you guys should be looking, where the action is. Right now, we are cruising down this dirt road, moving to a different ranch. We haven't cut all the rice that's on this ranch, on this location. It's just not ripe enough, so we're looking for ripe rice right now. So I'm going to be cutting this, and because the editing of a 360 degree video is a bit choppy, I'm not sure if the next edit is going to change your perspective, but if you lose sort of your bearings, it's because I've made an edit. Right now, I'm going to cut it off just because there's not much action going on around me right now aside of just moving down this dirt road. Except to my left and to my right, you can see we've got two harvested fields and they've been chopped. The straw has been chopped and it's also been disced in. That's why you can see the dirt clod showing. That's going to help the straw decompose. Shortly, we'll flood the fields with about 2 inches of water. Hope for some rain in the distant future when we're done harvesting. And that flooded rice field with the incorporated straw into the soil is going to help decompose it over the winter time. So no, we don't have two crops here in California just because the winter is too cold, the days are short, and not good growing conditions. However, these rice fields will serve as habitat for millions and millions of migratory birds. I am going to check back in with you guys once I'm a little bit well beyond the way. Oh, I should also mention that the header of my harvest combine is off so that I can move on the asphalt and get into traffic because that's a 20-foot wide header. I'd just be taking up too much space. The nice thing about this combine, I'm driving a Plas Lexion 585R. It's a 2006 model. It has rubber tracks, so I'm able to drive with it on the asphalt. Our other John Deere tractors, they have metal tracks, so we have to hire a low bed to get them from one ranch to other ranches across the asphalt. And that costs money. So what I'm doing right now is basically moving ahead as a scout to see if the other ranch that I'm heading to is ready to be cut. If so, we will then move the other combines over and I'll have some company. Otherwise, guys, I will check back in with you shortly as I approach this bridge. Pops is going to help me cross the bridge out of the ranch and onto the asphalt. I will check in with you guys just shortly here. Okay, Pops is just ahead of me. You see he's standing on the bridge. He's helping me navigate, getting across. We've got trees on my left, on my right. Coming across the bridge now. He's just keeping an eye on the tires and telling me to, yeah, wanted to know if I took it out of four-wheel drive. If you see ahead of me, off to my right, where Pops is running across the street, his truck is going to be taking the header over to the new location. So he's got it in transport mode, and he can move a little bit faster than I can, so he's going ahead. Behind me, I should also mention that Rick is driving our bank out wagon, so we're slowly moving all the pieces that we need to get over to the new ranch. Pops is pulling out. There's a car coming. Is he going to take it? Yep, he's going. Let me just kick it into higher RPMs. All right. This is a harvest combine on the road. Car passing now just ahead of me to the left. Checking my mirrors. I'm going to turn on my street lights. That means my blinkers are on. Putting on my emergency lights just so I got flashing lights. Brakes behind me again in the bank out. Another thing I should mention, because I'm going to be cutting out the video here until I get to the other ranch, but down in the description I will have timestamps with descriptions on different activities which I'm doing throughout this 360-degree video, because I imagine it's going to get quite long, because of course I want to show you eventually cutting some rice and unloading into the bank out. But until then, car's coming. There he goes. All right. But until then, I'm just going to cruise down the road here, and if I come across some action, I will turn the 360-degree camera back on. I also want to show you guys hooking up to the header, so you guys are going to have a great perspective on how we do that. Anyway, I'll check in with you guys shortly. Okay, I want to show you guys these grain bins up here. Big shout out to Uncle Jim, Cousin Eric, and Cousin Jeff. Also rice farmers. They have their own separate operation. They are predominantly seed growers, so they're raising their crop of rice to sell to us farmers next year to plant our commercial rice. They harvest their rice and have their own storage bins. So these bins will dry the rice down to storage moisture, and they'll keep it there over the winter and save it for spring, and then sell it to farmers who want to grow a new crop of rice with it. So there's their storage bins off to my right. You see they got some of their trucks there off to my right. Just thought I'd share that with you guys. Still cruising down the road. I'm going a smooth 12 miles per hour. Yeah, just a good ride. Check back in with you when we got something else. Pretty uneventful thus far, guys, but I am just turning right onto Highway 162 eastbound towards Oroville. We're going to see a lot more traffic, potential traffic, but just wanted to say hi. Here's a combine on the highway, well, a rural highway, so small 2-lane back and forth highway. Rick in the bank out's still behind me. Pops is way ahead of me. I can see him. Probably too far for you guys to see. But we will be at the rice field shortly. Therefore, shortly we will be attempting to put the header onto the combine, which I will show you guys. Okay, guys. After this white truck passes just ahead of me, to my left, you can see Pops to my left. He's waving me across the street. He is motioning to the bank out operator to park alongside the canal here. I am going to just get off the road. You can see the header is just ahead of me. And get completely off the road. I am going to throttle down, turn my lights off. I'm going to swivel out the ladder. You'll see to my left over here. Hop outside. Pops is cleaning off the feeder house there. Got a little bit of rice and dust and chaff. If you can see there where his right hand is, there's that black piece of Gorilla Tape. That's going to help me line up to the header. One thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to put it into first gear so my movement's not so exaggerated. And another thing I'm going to do, because I always forget, is I'm going to open up my grain tank. You can't see it. That's what the beeping sound is. It tells me that the extension's up. I put the grain tank extensions down just because it makes the combine about 3.5, 4 feet taller. So when I'm transporting it, I want to close it, not to clip any power lines. But I can see now it's open. So now, raising up my feeder house just a little bit, moving forward. Pops is waiting for me. You see the nubs on the far left and right side of the feeder house just below me. If you pulled the pickup up just a little bit, it would help. Okay, this was the third attempt, and I got my now left notch in, right notch is in better position. Pops is coming around to make sure everything is lining up okay on this side. Oh, let's see. It's tough with the canal to my left and right on this bridge, and he doesn't have it straight. So Rick pulled the pin out of the hitch. The pickup is now disconnected from the header and the carrying cart. Slowly lifting up. Whoop, did you hear that, guys? That just clamped down. Pops is going to lock it into place. Let's make sure that latches. Okay. Okay, and lifting the feeder house, lifting the header. I'm going to pop down there now, guys, and we're going to take the wheels off. So just look down there, I guess. Okay, guys, we have the header hooked up. Electronics, hydraulics, latched in. I'm going to... Okay. Starting up the combine. Pops just said that he wants me to cut a little bit so we can get his pickup out of there. I am just going to check. Grain extension up, I know. Reel up and down. You can see I'm just testing everything. In and out. Everything seems fine. I'm now putting it in four-wheel drive, putting it on slow mode for cutting. Got my lights off, engaging the separating system now. Listen for it. Good. I'm going to throttle up and I'm going to check the settings of my combine, checking my screens, cylinder is adjusting itself. Checking my fan is good. Checking my cylinder RPMs, good. Just waiting now on my concaves to clean themselves out. They basically open and close to let any tied up straw out of there. Now it's closing, and it's gonna bump back up to my cutting setting, and I just want to confirm that it returns to the correct setting before I start cutting. Checking everything behind me, checking everything on the combine. Okay, concaves just got done. All my settings are good. I'm gonna throttle down and engage the header. If you look out in front of me, header moving, good. Reel speed is working. Reel is that comb-like thing. Going into cutting, throttle, RPMs. Let's dip down into the field and see what we got, guys. Here's the first cut. We don't know if this is ripe enough, but you can see ahead of me a little bit of green rice. I mean, the vegetation looks pretty green. I'm just going to slowly dip in here, coming off the road. My combine's going to dip down. I don't want to jam my header into the ground. So I'm just taking it nice and slow. The combine's now in the field. You can just see that the vegetation's pretty green and the rice isn't feeding very well. You see how it's kind of dancing there before it throws into the header. Okay. I'm just going to take a quick break here. Just get a strategy with this field. With Pops and Rick, the bank out operator. But we're cutting. I'm just gonna pull the header up, I'm gonna pop out. Just talk to them, I'll be right back. Okay guys. We got good news and bad news. Engaging the separator. Engaging the header. Good news. We made it out here safely. No accidents on the highway. We're cutting rice, but guess what? It started sprinkling. We can't harvest in the rain because if we take wet rice into the dryer, it's cost too much to dry it down. You can see the raindrops on my reel, the big cylinder part of the reel. You see how they're getting raindrops on it? We just can't cut in the rain because the dryer won't take wet rice. Even if they did, it would cost us way too much. We don't even know if this rice is ripe enough. So, kind of an anticlimactic end to this little trip, but I am harvesting rice right now just to get the combine off the highway. I'm basically just cutting straight into the check, about 2/3 into the check, to get some distance, get this off the road, and we're just going to have to shut down for the day with these raindrops. Maybe try in the afternoon if the sun comes out and it stops raining. This was forecasted. We tried to sneak it in, but not going to happen. I'm about 2/3 across right now. Lifting my header up. And back off a little bit. Just letting the rice process through the combine. Processing now. I'm going to turn my throttle down basically. Turning my header off, turning my separator off, putting my header down onto the ground. This beeping sound is telling me that the grain tank extension is open, which I'm grateful for the warning, because normally I'd keep it open if it was dry, but because it's raining, I don't want rain to fall on the rice that I just cut. It's all back here. If you look behind me, I don't know if you can probably not see through that window, but I am closing my grain tank to protect that rice from the rain. I can see raindrops on my side windows right here, guys. That's gonna do it for today's rice harvest video. I don't know, I'll just have to check in. I'm thinking about doing a 360 degree bank out video when things get dry and we cut again, just to have you ride along with the bank out driver, showing him receiving the rice when it's unloaded from me, and also how he unloads the rice, delivers it to the trucks and trailers, and he'll be speeding through. So let me know if you guys want that 360 degree video inside a bank out wagon. Let me know if you want a 360 degree video of me actually doing a full day of cutting rice. I just want to know what your user experience is with this sort of thing. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to go edit some videos when I get home, I suppose, unless we got some work out at the ranch, but I don't think so. Getting a little bit of sprinkles here, so just got to pause it. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment down below. I want to know what you guys think about these 360 degree videos. Take a look over at me. I'm waving to you. I'm saluting you. I'm giving you guys thumbs up. I appreciate any of your thumbs up if you got any. But hey, have a great day. Stay dry. Well, guys, just when you thought the video was over, I am back. The rain, the sprinkles, I'm going to call it. The sprinkles have stopped. We waited about an hour. The sun is definitely not out, as you can see behind me, but it's kind of warm outside. The sprinkle has dried off the rice. We're going to give it a go. We're going to cut. We're going to at least cut a couple loads and take the loads into the dryer and just see what the moisture reading is. I'm backing up right now because, well, we're on the bottom side of this field, and I got to cut all the way to the top because we think the riper rice is up at top. But unfortunately, I got to cut through the entire field to get up there because the roads on each side of the field just aren't wide enough. So I'm backing up so I can make a diagonal cut over to the rollovers, which I think is good right about here. I'm going to open up my grain tank. Remember, I closed that. Opening that up right now. And away we go, guys. We are heading north, cutting rice. If you look down to my left, you may see Pops. He's just checking over the combine, making sure everything's working okay, making sure I'm not leaking rice anywhere. He'll be going around the back right now to check out the right side pretty soon. He's back behind me, you can't see him. Up ahead of me, you can see him cutting. I'm just heading north. I'm heading to the top of the check to hopefully find the most ripe rice. Here's my Pops here on my right hand side. I don't know if you can see him if you got that angle. He's down behind the header, around the tracks. That's the grain elevator. That takes separated rice up to the top of the combine to fill up the grain tank. So how do you determine if rice is ripe? Well, rice kernels fill with a liquid, a milky-like substance. That hardens. Before it gets super solid, like a rice kernel as you know it, it gets mushy, the drying of it. It can get chalky almost before it completely hardens. And so what we're doing is we're taking readings of the moisture of the rice kernels. So if it's milky, the moisture is very high, right? If it's chalky and it hasn't hardened, then the moisture is still really high. So we're looking for a specific moisture. We would like to cut at 20%, meaning that the rice kernel has 20% moisture in it. If it gets too dry, the rice kernel is too brittle. So we don't want to harvest at like 15% moisture, because then processing the rice through this combine here, it can crack the brittle rice and lower the quality of the rice. And nobody wants to buy rice at the supermarket where the kernels of rice are just these broken little pieces. So we'll get less money for that rice if they're broken. They'll go for animal feed or something, or processing. So there is an optimal harvest moisture. For us, it's about 20%. On the fields before, the fields that we were cutting before we moved over to this one, we were getting into the 24% range. Just too green, too high of a moisture. And the dryer doesn't want that rice at 24% because they have to dry it down, and they run the rice through these drying columns. And every time they run the rice through the drying columns, it drops the moisture down by a couple percentage points. So if you're cutting at the optimal harvest moisture, 20%, then they only need to run it through the drying system maybe 1-2 times. If you're bringing it in at 24%, they need to dry it down that much more, and they have to run it through the drying columns 3, maybe even 4 times, and that slows down their productivity. So if you have one farmer bringing in really green rice with high moisture, they will slow down the entire drying process, slow down all those other farmers who are bringing it in at 20, 18, or whatever. So the dryer will actually call the farmer down and call the farmer and say, hey, you're bringing in rice, it's too high of a moisture, you got to stop cutting, sorry, we won't accept it. And that's basically what happened to us yesterday at the ranch that we were at earlier, and that is why we're over here at this ranch cutting this field in hopes that it's ripe enough and optimal harvest moisture. I'm going to catch back up with you guys once I get a full tank of rice and show you how I unload it into the bakeout wagon. Okay guys, so I'm just about to the north side of the field, but before I go over this rollover into the next check as I continue cutting north, I am going to... Oh, yep, did you hear that? That little beeping sound right there is the monitor telling me that my grain tank is 100% full. So I am going to cut a side piece out for Rick. Let me get rid of that buzzer. I'm going to cut a side piece out for Rick so he can pull up next to me. As you can see, I'm opening up the field, as we call it, so there's no room for him to otherwise pull up next to me. So I need to back up as I did, cut a little strip so he's got space to my left to pull up alongside of me. He will empty me out and then head to the trucks and trailers. I've already extended out my unloading auger to put it in a position so that you guys can see it, because I know those side panels on the door kind of can cover it up if it's fully extended. So as you can see in front of me, I've bridged the levee. I've got my loading auger extended. If you look out to the left, here comes Rick. Just going to throttle down, turn off my header. I don't need that going. Throttling back up for the unloading auger. There's Rick. And he is in position. Thumbs up, Rick, and unloading now. So there we go, unloading the first little bit of rice. Rick needs to back up a little bit. Let's see, let me get up. Trying to get his attention by opening the door, spilling rice out the back. See, he's nervous. He knows that I'm 100% full, and if I'm 100% full, that means I'm going to easily give him 100% full. So he wants to make as much space there as possible. So a little bit spilled out the back, not that big of a deal. his tank. See, he pulled up a little bit too close to me, or he's going to say that I had my unloading auger extended out a little bit too far. Nothing like a little bit of drama here, but don't cry over a little bit of spilled rice. Not that big of a deal. I hope you guys can still see it, but might just position my unloading auger back a little bit to fill up that side of his tank. Should still be in your frame. Good. That's a big pile of rice inside his bank out wagon. Throttling down so we can start my header. Header is started, Rick's taken off, he's backing up, throttling up for cutting speed. I'm just going to let Rick back up behind me, and I'm going to continue up cutting north. So I don't know, guys, we're cutting. I'll tune back in, let you know how the moisture is, but I'm just going to cut. It's going to take several bank out loads to get the trucks and trailers filled up. We're not going to know if we can continue cutting until those trucks and trailers deliver the rice to the dryer and they give us a moisture reading. Here's me coming up over the rollover. This is a bit precarious cutting here because I got to get my header down real low because my combine's bumping up. I'm on top of the rollover and I'm dipping down into the field, so my head is facing down. I put my reel out to kind of feel for me because I don't want to jam my header. Now you see I'm raising it up as my combine is dropping down into the field. I got to slowly raise up my header. Not cutting very well, as you can see that rice just wanting to hang on. There it comes. I can see off to my right how low I'm cutting, but now that my combine is starting to enter the field, I've got to re-lower my header back down, otherwise I'd be cutting too high. So a little bit of a precarious situation there, coming in over the rollovers from one check into the next. If you can see out in front of me, I've nearly reached the top check. This is the second top check, check number 2. So I've got one more rollover, and then I can start cutting the field. Right now I'm going to veer away from the road just because the rice is usually a little bit less ripe along the road. So I'm going to put some hot rice going there. Do you hear that grumble? I don't know if you can hear that grumble, but I took my engine load up to 40%. I don't want to clog this kind of green rice, but yeah, I'm cutting off the side of the road just because rice is usually just a little bit less ripe alongside of the road. It doesn't get as much wind because the road is blocking it. Wind, of course, helps dry the rice out. Anyway, guys, I'll check in with you once I get that load back, that moisture reading back, and fill you in. Okay, guys, I've opened up enough of the field so that Rick can drive alongside me. I'm going to unload now. If you look out to my left, give him another chance to show you guys how a zero spill unload goes. I hope that unloading auger is in your line of sight, right out this way. Haven't got a moisture reading yet so far. Still filling up the trailers. We'll see what happens. It's cutting pretty well. I mean, it looks good. If you look down at the rice, it looks like a golden color. However, you can see out into the vegetation, there's a little bit of green leaf still that kind of indicates that moisture could be high. The plant is still viable. Rick's doing a good job unloading out there to my left. I'm going about 1.8 miles per hour. I'm in no rush. I'm the only one out here cutting. Gray skies, Hasn't opened up yet. Gonna see what happens. Basically, after this load that Rick's gonna take, once I give him one more load of rice, that should be a full set of trailers. The truck will take it into the dryer and we'll get a moisture reading and know whether or not we can continue. Just move my auger to a better angle for him. Good. Close. Really close. That's good. Alright. Went pretty full. Give old Rick thumbs up for positive reinforcement. You can see now he's taken off ahead of me to deliver that rice to the trucks. Anyway, I'll be back soon with the next load, and especially once we get a moisture reading, guys. Well, guys, throttling down, and I'm having a chocolate chip cookie. We got back the moisture sample of that first load, 24.9. Yikes. That's not ripe enough, so we're going to call it a day. We got more rain on the forecast for Tuesday. I don't know when we're going to get back in the field, but we're going to be forced to take a break of harvest on account of both unripe rice and rain. We'd of course prefer a hot sunny day with the north wind to help dry the rice up, to help mature it, but that's not what we're going to get. We're going to get a little bit of rain perhaps. So, well, we harvested some rice at least. If you look around me to the left, got a couple passes there. Up to the right, haven't really done much over there. I was trying to stay, if you look around the field, into the more ripe looking rice, less green looking rice, so that's why you see these chunks everywhere. Pickups back over there to the right, so I'm just going to stop right here and hop in. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about these 360-degree videos. Same thing goes before. Let me know if you want to get in the cab with Rick and the bank out and see what he's doing. I could do some voiceover and explain. So I don't know. I know I've already said my goodbyes about halfway through this video, but goodbye again. Give me a thumbs up if you got one. Thanks for watching. Take care.